Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the AuthorU, Your Guide to Book Publishing podcast. And as always, I give you a little quote because we're going to be talking about marketing in our own way, the things to add on to push you out, to promote you, especially in this huge year of the fire horse, which is meaning you have to be bigger, bolder, more out there in that. So, I just kind of randomly opened it, and it is book marketing is about connecting, finding those who want to hear your story, need your insights, or just want a good read. So, is how true is that? So, that's from Snappy, Sassy, Salty, and Success for authors and writers. And I always want to thank my awesome sponsors. We have Nick Zellinger of NZ Graphics, and with us is Rebecca Finkel from FMP. Let me just give you the whole website. It's fpgd.com, and that's where you want to go. And for me, it stands for Feel Pretty Good Day. That's the
There
way
you
I think of
go.
it.
The
You
company
got
name
that?
is F&P Graphic Design, but we'll go with that.
Yeah, and you can do a search, but or just go to fpgd.com if you want a book cover that rocks, that will make it stand out above the crowd of millions of books, or an interior design that when you open it up, the reader falls in and there's eye candy in it to keep them engaged and moving along. And I don't care if we're talking about a 100-page book or a 400-page book, you need some eye candy in there to keep it going. So, Rebecca Finkel is the award-winning book cover interior designer. She's also a website designer. And what I love about Rebecca is she gets authors and she gets books. So a lot of these websites you see out there, like she designed my website for just my books, judithbrilesbooks.com. I would recommend you all take a peek at that and sign up. I have goodies all the time there. But today, because this year, which is a different year, and Chinese New Year popped up in February, that there it was the fire horse. It's a fire horse. It only shows up every 60 years. So that means you're going to be bigger, you're going to be bolder, you're going to be out there. You're going to be more of a risk taker with some of the stuff you do. So we're going to talk about some of the swag. We've done programs on swag before, but what can you make different on that? Like in an earlier show this month, we talked about getting your books into grocery stores. So you've got to have certain swag to engage a shopper who maybe is just heading to get that head of lettuce and get out of Dodge. What could we get them to stop by when you're in maybe the produce department with your books selling them? Rebecca, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. That was a great intro, Judith. Thank you, thank you. So, my thing about ebooks is they don't have to be ugly. My
Oh, yeah.
advice, right? My advice about being bolder and the being bolder and everything is to do it. Don't be chaotic, but be bold. So take choices. Make deliberate choices to step forward in a very impactful way. Not every day. You don't do that every day, but let's plan one for the whatever time your book is right for. Let's really plan a step forward. For instance, the grocery store. You can have a presence, and the presence is really you want people to just stop for a second. They're scanning the store for that lettuce that they want. Oop, they need garlic too. You got to go over there. So as they're scanning the store for where this is, they want to be like, oh, what is that? Look at that. That's
Well,
interesting. So
and
professional
prompts.
look, you know.
Yep. This is props. And I know like in Rebecca designed my cookbook, Cooking with Judith, and I use capers. I love capers, and I use them in a lot of elements in there. So if I'm going to be in a grocery store and I'm going to be encouraging people to get my cookbook, let me tell you, I'm going to go get, with permission of the store, although I could carry in my own big jar of capers, but take something off a shelf to say, gee, you might want to get this if you get this book. So use props also from the store on that. And that would be, and then of course you put them back unless you want to buy them, but that's another thing.
Right. You're short of capers, that's your jar. But
Yeah.
yes, you want to. You want to show that you are an author, like just quickly, not simply, but efficiently. Efficiently show you are an author. This is your book. For some people, your book is a pass. It will always be a pass. Your book you cannot sell to every person on this planet your book. It doesn't happen that way. Um, Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it just doesn't happen that way. But you want to make sure you're accessing your audience, the ones that are interested in capers. Oh, that's right. I haven't had capers in a long time. I like that
Mhm.
flavor. Some people are caper negative. It happens. So,
Absolutely. But
it is what it is.
if you like a lemon sauce, capers are perfect in a lemon sauce.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfecto. If you like fish or chicken and you're making a sauce with it, they're an ideal ad. Just saying,
I
um,
agree. Totally.
on those things. So,
But there's ways to do this. There's table runners. There's a way you present your book so the book isn't face down on the table. It's actually face up. There's yes samples. But let's say you're not going to be in a grocery store. Your book is whatever. That's not your thing. You want to be
mhm.
in a bookstore, or you want to be in a farmer's market, or you want to be in a coffee shop, something like that. There are other ways to attract. There are other ways to pull people to your table so they can consider your book, which is what you want, at least somebody engaging and talking to you and having you discuss your book beyond you just standing there and staring at people and they're staring back, and that's like a no man's land. That's
I,
really
I,
not what you
I,
want.
I know. I know. I wear hats sometimes in
Perfect.
stores because if people are wearing hats, you and I both live in Colorado. So as you come in, when you have the winter, people got, they've got knit hats on,
Got the
and things.
beanies.
Beanies, yeah, the beanies are there. And then, of course, there's always baseball caps. I don't wear a baseball cap, although I have an awesome one that says FBI that was given to me. I mean, that's a cool hat. But that I think that if you do something that just is a little bit different, gives a little jaunt to it about your physical presence, like I mean, I always have different earrings. People will comment on my earrings. I have earrings, that actually have my book covers on them. It's very cool to have those because people will notice them and then they'll ask about them. I have a new set that I have a oh I can't go grab it right now, sorry, but I have a new set that has all three of my historical fiction books on it, dangling, little teeny miniatures, little dangling books coming down. People notice that stuff, and what's that about? So, have some fun. But and of course, sometimes I'm really in a hurry. Wearing a hat takes care of the hair issue really
Right,
fast.
for sure. But there's also like implements. There's a man he's an adventurist and he's climbed Everest. Not that I say everybody should climb Everest, but he has this boot
Yes.
that he uses, and that's absolutely an attention grabber because this is like amazing boot. It's big. His feet get cold on Everest, and he has to protect his feet, etc. Super cool. Then he has a story. Then it brings you in. So it can be a prop of some kind. It can be the FBI hat that you don't wear, but it is on the table. I suggest not like handcuffs or a firearm. That might
Ooh,
be not
ooh.
that might be frowned upon, but there are lots of
But
props.
but one of the most amazing museums I was in was the Mob Museum in Las Vegas. And the props, including handcuffs, you know, that can come out of there. If you're writing thrillers, or some of the suspense, some or espionage, that kind of spy, that might be a good ad for your table.
Depending, a firearm laying on a table, people are gonna be like, "I'm not going over there.
No,
That's not
I'm
my
not going to
thing."
bring it down.
Mm-mm.
No, 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 no. I would not do that. But handcuffs, and you could dangle them off the corner of your book. A lot of
Correct.
times people think they have to. No, you've got
No.
landscape that you can play with. So, Rebecca, I want to go back to something that you said. Your opening line was ebooks don't have to be ugly.
They
And
don't.
I was looking at and I can't remember, help me out on time frame, because color wasn't always available to ebooks. When did that happen?
It's really color has always been available to ebooks. That's a
Mm.
thing, but it's more the viewer. It's more the reader. Kindles are black and white. So you know, when they were the only game going, when you actually had to have a Kindle, the Kindle
They
reader,
were black. They were
they were
black.
black and white. And they, you know, they've upgraded their technology and it's not that way now. But early on in those days when it was like, why waste the file space? Truly, it's a technical question. Why waste the file space for a color file that nobody can appreciate? Well, you know, Amazon's not foolish. They came out with a color model, then they came out with the app, or I don't actually know the sequence. I think they came out with the app. Now I read Kindle books on my mini tablet or my phone, so you don't have to have a. You can use the Kindle app, which is free. Again, Amazon's not dumb, and you can view it anywhere now. So now color really is a thing. Like what's use color, not like a coloring book. We're not splashing color everywhere, but to use it nicely and you know to upgrade if you have photos in your book that are more you have more clarity in color,
Hmm.
yeah, let's use that. Full color photography books on an ebook is those are tough to see on a phone just because they're so small. They can be done, absolutely. But you know, those books really need a bigger landscape. And actually print books are, you know, arguably maybe with better source, but yeah, why not? Let's put color in there. We can do that.
Well, yeah. And so this would be a year. If you have an old, if
Yes.
you have an ebook that came out in the old days, and actually I was talking to a client and we were looking, it's an old one. I immediately reached out to Rebecca. We need to update
Yeah.
this baby.
Right.
So a lot of times people don't think about an ebook makeover, but maybe you're overdue for it.
Correct. And
And
correct. I was going to say another simple one is a bookmark. If you have a bookmark, maybe it's a little dated, maybe it's a little old, maybe you need a new one, and you don't have to buy 1,000, buy 50, buy 100, buy whatever you think you can get rid of in like a year, 6 months, and put out a new bookmark. Maybe test. This is the time to do a small run on something like that and test like does this apply to my customers or my readers more than this one? I mean, are they gravitated towards the new one or the old one? Is the new one just running away? Then you can print more. You can always print more. You can always print
Mhm,
more. But a 50 is like, let's try something. Let's step out there. Let's do this. Or a postcard. Um, you know, a banner is a little bit a bigger situation, but step out. Like take a step in one direction and see like a big step. Take a giant step. Can be planned.
mhm,
Can be it's not chaos, it's not
mhm,
causing confusion, but take a major step out and see if that's giving you what you need. Um,
mhm.
and reassess. I really highly recommend that in this year of the horse, the dragon horse.
Yeah, the fire horse, the
Fire horse,
fire
sorry.
horse. Right, that's okay. So that reassessment though is really important, and if you're in a bookstore, which do spend a lot of time in bookstores, I get to talk to a lot of people. Let's do the ask. Let's really do an ask. So what attracts you? What brings you in? And I had one of my books in the historical fiction series that I write with Brian Barnes, that The Secret Rise just got a really great review. But what was way fun is I got to the very kind of like the summing up, the very end. What they brought all these little nuggets together. I saw three major lines that I actually could verbalize and use when I talk with people about they brought it all together. Very cool. So it's like, thank you. It's,
Right? Right.
yeah.
I've always said reading your reader in a bookstore or in any place, grocery store, coffee
Hmm.
shop, whatever, meeting book clubs, reading your reader, meeting them and talking to them has got to be on one hand thrilling. You have somebody that is into your characters, into your topic, into your whatever you're doing, really thrilling. And on the other hand, terrifying because they're really into your book. And so that might be it's a double-edged sword. I can just imagine. I myself am not an author. I play to my strengths. I'm really good at making covers, but not really good at writing them. So not my thing.
Yeah.
But it must be thrilling to have somebody that's just so motivated with your book that they come and meet you and they talk to you. That's got to be, they're going to ask, why didn't this character do that? Why didn't you have this idea? It's, and you're like, I didn't have that idea. I just didn't. Like, and have a real conversation is, I think would be incredibly motivating, incredibly thrilling.
Mhm. Here's another idea that's kind of bold, and it could help really increase your sales. One of the things for those of you who have series that you'll find that if it's a new buyer, what they want is the first book. They're not ready to plunge in
No.
to the whole enchilada. So what can you do to help promote? And I was having this discussion with a manager of one of the Barnes and Noble stores, because typically when I'm in a store, at least 20 copies of the first book will sell when I'm in the store. But for the second and third book, it's dramatically reduced. So I thought, what could I do? What could I do? So I went to Joe and I said, Joe's the manager, and I said, I have an idea. I have some old copies of a book that was published earlier in the hardback edition that we don't sell in the stores anymore because we went and then we transitioned to paper. I said, what if I put out, and we have it on the table, that if they buy either the second or third book in the series, in addition to anything else they do, but they buy the second or third, I will give them from the authors, not coming from the store. I will be bringing in the inventory because look you want to get rid of old books. And I thought this is the way I can start. I've got some old stuff here, and bring it in and do the push that way, and I can just give them out. And we made a little poster that said that. We actually did a mailing out to my list saying, for example, that you're listening to this on a Thursday. It's highly probable I could be in a bookstore on the following Saturday, Sunday. So I would send out an e-blast to my mailing list. Plus, I would put it out on social media. Meet me at Barnes and Noble in Southlands or in Denver West Village or wherever it is. And if you get the second or third book in the series, I am going to give you, as a gift from me to you, a copy of either, you can have a choice, and I give them a choice of two older books. Rebecca, the first time I did that, I sold 60 books.
Right? Incredible. Really incredible. You were there for
Yeah,
4 hours, 6
yeah,
hours?
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I,
you can do
you
the
know,
numbers on that one. Just,
yeah,
easy math.
yeah. And the typical bookstore author, by the way, only sells 4 to 6 books.
Correct.
Only 4 to 6 books.
Mostly because I
Book
don't think they're
signing.
engaging their audience well.
Right.
So, and they don't have something to offer. A bookmark is like, oh, you don't want my book, or you're going for whatever calendars? Here, have a bookmark. Most people will not say no, and your bookmark should be something that you can just give out, like you freely give out, or a postcard, freely give it out. It is something that is promotional, and so they feel informed but not pressured, which is kind of one. It's a lot of buyers want to be informed about your book and not pressured. They may circle back today, they may circle back on your website or whatever, Amazon,
Mhm.
they may circle back in a week, but you're making contact. It's the author that just stands or sits, which is kind of a no-no, but anyway, the author that is just passive. That's not what you want. You don't want a passive author. You want somebody engaging. You have Also, if you're engaging with somebody in front of your table or booth or your display of some kind, and somebody else is
Mhm.
walking by,
Mhm.
they take notice. Wow, that somebody's that's something's
Mhm.
talking. In a bookstore, that's an interesting thing. So they may circle back just because there was interest. So
Yeah,
interest builds interest, type of a
I
thing.
am. I'm so glad you said about the sitting because too many do sit. You need to stand up. You need to stand up and greet them like eye to eye. Now, I had a rough health year a couple years ago, and I was in a wheelchair from
A fall.
a fall. Yeah, things didn't go well. I was in a wheelchair. Did I stay behind the table? Mm-mm-mm. I came out. I was at the side of the table where the display was. At there, and then we had a banner. Rebecca had made me a tall banner. We had a banner, but I saw the traffic coming in the store, and they had a heavy. I asked the managers, what kind of books do your customers like? Well, he had said fantasy. We have a huge fantasy following. Well, I knew of an author that they had some of their books, and I said, you know what? Bring some of those books over to the table. I'm going to sell some of them for you too. And this is a team. When I'm in a bookstore, this is a team thing we do. And I actually had him to the pile. I piled these big, thick, thick books fantasy up. And because I always do an ask, and I think one of the things for you to be bold if you're in a bookstore or any event that ask them what kind of books they like to read. They may say to you, well, I don't read. And now it depends if I'm going to be cheeky, sometimes saying, well, gee, yeah, I
So
said to
sorry. Anyway, so
I said, gee, I'm so sorry you want to decline your intelligence. No, sometimes it depends. I have done something things like that before.
that's
But
the end
or
of the day.
they may say, yeah, at the end of the day. They may say that I don't read, I just listen to audio. Okay. Now let's go back to the bookmark too here. That then I said, great, because my books are available in audio. Can I give you a bookmark that you could take away to remind or something like that? They will take those. So on your bookmarks, make sure you say what the format's available. Is it print? Is it is it audio? Put them all there. And
Correct.
then
And if you are thinking of audio but have not done it yet, do not put that on your bookmark. Like unless you're doing it on Tuesday and today is like Friday. Like
right.
unless it's really in there because you don't want to hand
Yeah.
it out and they go, oh, good audiobook. And you have to say, well,
Yeah.
no, it's not on audio yet. Like that's anyway, that's why 50 bookmarks. When it's on audio, 50 new ones. It's 50. Like eh,
Yeah.
it's a
Now,
anyway.
now
I want to
Rebecca
say about
also
taking a big step is yes, you're
yeah.
taking a big planned step, but it is for a time period. If you're timid about this, you're gonna make a big step and go into a bookstore. Realize that yes, there's planning and setup, but the bookstore then does end, and you can go back to your cave. You can go back to your home. You can go
Mhm,
back to your safe space. So big steps are about making a big step and taking a step
mhm.
out and coming back and analyzing what's happened to take another big step and then come back
Ex-
and analyze.
Exactly. All right. So I was trying to
We're
see
not
if I
telling you to be out
had.
there all the time. That's uncomfortable. But
No, that can get exhausting.
correct.
If you do all of those kind of things. But here's another idea. I was trying to see if I had one of a different bookmark here. But one of the things that I think is a great idea, and Rebecca started doing it on some of ours, was the QR codes. And if you can do a link over, so this is kind of a bold idea. If you
Where's
go
your QR
over,
code link? Where are you linking people to?
okay, so see, this is my cooking. All right, you
Where
can
does
see
that QR code go? Where does
this
that
goes this goes to Amazon.
got it?
Okay. So you can do that and you just say, where they're available. And here's another little thing you can add. Look at this. Please post reviews in Amazon. Okay. Just kind of just a reminder to that. Now, I've had people pick up a bookmark saying, I only read ebooks. And of course, we're not selling ebooks at the table on that. But I've had them actually take out their phone, do the scan, and order the ebook right in front of me. Done, done.
Right?
So that's an idea for you, just to add a little bit. So let people know. Make sure your website is on these. Now, here's a sample. All right. Look at this is a series of the books. Each one has its QR code on there, and it'll take them to the Amazon page. So, and then here's another saying where you can see at the very bottom, and it says, let me see if they're available in print, ebook, and audio. Make it easy for them. I mean, that may be bold for some of you to say to do all that. I think it's just sales smart. This is sale. You do want to sell books, right? I'm going to say we're going to assume that with all of you. We do want to sell books. Okay, so we have those. All right. So I love so QR code now. Where can your designers can do them, but here's what you can do. I always do as soon as my book is up on Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. Um that when you load your book on Ingram Spark, that they automatically then it gets loaded on bn.com. If you don't know that. Right. So what you could do is you could take each one of those codes, you go in, put your title up, look it up, And the same with Amazon, because the URL for your book is a lot of characters. It's not 5 characters. It's not 10 characters. It could be 40 or 50 characters that brings it distinctly to your details page. I like to use Bitly, bit.ly, and I take that in and I make a shortener. Now, if you scroll down on the Bitly page, when you make it, they will also create a QR code for you. And you can do it in color. You can add images and customize it. And it's all free.
Correct. And the image is like in the middle of the QR code.
Yep,
Um, I've really
yep,
played with how small QR codes can be, and they can be
pretty
like
small.
postage stamp size because
Yep,
they're tough to work into places.
yep. But that's one way to do it, to just add just a little bit more. But I loved it when we did the bookmark for the series and all the QR codes were there. I mean, it was just evolution. So what do you do with old bookmarks? Okay. A lot of people don't want to go back to print because they still have this other stuff.
I have 10 bookmarks left. I'm not going to print. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, yeah, you are, because you're going to be bold. and, and you're just, you can use them, use them yourself. I've got more bookmarks as we read a lot of books in this house. My husband reads a book at least every other day. So,
So that's
you know,
why 50 is a good investment. Honestly, and watch how they go. Watch how fast they go. Maybe 100 next time, maybe 75. Bookmarks are not that expensive. They are very inexpensive, and that's why it's such a great deal. Postcards are another one that are a great deal. You don't have to buy 1,000 to get that unit price of, 2 cents. You don't have to do that. It's, book, and they can be printed locally. A great place, a great source for bookmarks are two sources: Vista Print, Vista print.com, and also 123 Print. That one's easy. They run specials. Exactly the same company. They run specials. Look for specials. Go, if you have a local company that you like, check them out. Just, I'm looking for a bookmark. It's going to be the size. What would be the cost? I'd also, as long as you're doing it, I do front and back. Use the space. If you have
oh
absolutely
yeah.
nothing to say on the back, like you're just nothing to say, do a pull quote, do a review, do like put more information on the back. Your reader, you have a captive person that wants more information. Use both sides. Give them that more information. Don't use it. Don't leave the back blank.
Oh no, that's crazy for you to do. And also, don't do them in gloss. Do a
Correct.
matte because listen, they are so slippery to
They're
try to.
super
Oh,
slick when you do it in
oh my
gloss. Super
God.
slick. I
So
mean,
so don't
it
do
is what
that.
it is. Maybe you're
Yeah.
doing it
So
on maybe your book
yeah,
is on a super viscous anyway, whatever. I can't even land that one. I don't even know of a book that would merit a gloss
yeah.
because the content
So
is on oil or something. I don't know.
yeah. So Rebecca mentioned, Vistaprint, there's a lot out there that you can pull from
Correct.
to get them, and they all have their different deals. I mean, I've used Any Promo, I've used Up Printing.
Correct. They run
Yep,
specials. They run
yep,
specials. Look for the specials.
yep, got Print Runner. I mean, four over. I've done four imprint. Next day flyers, I get good deals because I like my bookmarks to be 2.5. I don't want a skinnier two. 2.5 gives me a little bit more space to work with by
Which I
7.
appreciate. I
Y
appreciate
yes.
the extra space to get
Yeah.
all this
And
stuff
so
in.
next day printing works really well for that one. So the thing is, you have them, and then you can do so when your stuff is old, when your stuff becomes old. It's old. Get rid of it. Replace it. Modify it. And it could be a color change. It could be a repositioning. You find it works better. I mean, once you start handling this stuff, you'll realize it yourself, how people look about it, in those
One
things. So
one way to think about this is your reader is asking for more information. So meet that level. Meet the level of I want more, whether that's a blog, or a podcast. Those are two great ways to do this. And we have so many, Judith has so many techniques on how to get into that. Or, they're asking for more information on this bookmark. They're buying the first of the series of the book, remind them there are two more, or remind them there are other books coming. Like even your upcoming is fine. It's coming in the spring. Don't ever say like it's coming on January 1st because or a
No,
specific date. Don't ever do that. Or say
no,
spring
no.
or in 2026. Like be vague because writing is a creative process and it takes as long as it takes. It just does. Um,
Mhm.
but when the reader is reaching out for more, like they're accessing your website, give them more. One way is don't use the same author photo. You have many personalities. You do many things. You're a complex human being. Have different takes of your photo on the website. Have when you're, if you have a series that's a little dated and you're trying to revamp it, you're trying to pull it up. You've left Easter eggs all over your book. Little plot twist, little something. Do a little side on this character. Do a little side on that plot twist or this idea, or if
Mhm.
it's a nonfiction book, somehow you've moved the information forward. So do a little something on that. That's a tag into your first series. And that can be a blog, that can be a podcast, that can also be a little novella that you only publish as like an ebook or a quick book on Amazon. It can be, you can refresh it and boost by doing these things. These are bold steps that you're taking and reviving. But sometimes when a book is dated, it needs this like left turn. It needs a bold step. And these are things you can do in the privacy of your own office as well to do further information on your book, however further information looks for you.
Mhm.
These are great ways
Mhm.
to forward your book.
Mhm.
And just refreshing your website, going in and refreshing some of the metadata. So the metadata is a sentence with a comma. Can you switch the front to back to front of that sentence to the bots? That's a new sentence. That's
Well, you
crazy.
need, I think it's important that we do get in there, and I'm guilty of us too, of
Me
going in
too. Oh my God, me too.
every page, and do an update and rechange the order. Remember, this keeps the search engines happy, the search engine bots happy. We have
That's
something
what you
new.
want. You want happy bots, unfortunately.
Yeah, so you have that. Rebecca, I'd like to come back to one of the things, for example, the necessity. I think maybe if there's one thing I can drive in people is, and we all get lazy. We all do get lazy. Or there's a lot on our plate, but really going after people to get these reviews up. I mean,
Yes,
rarely do you buy something online without looking at a review. I don't care if it's the latest, bathroom cleaning product. I don't care if it's a dog food. And it could be a shirt that you're
correct.
looking for, or that you're going to read the reviews. And I always start at the bad ones. I want to
Correct.
know what people are grumbling about.
Correct.
Can I live with whatever, if it says, well, the package came torn. Okay, that's not a legitimate grumble on what the product is. The, if the product was affected, they should be replacing it. Packages do get torn, but I'm looking for the substance of that. And I always go to the low rated, which is a tip for all of you who are in the process of writing. Are you going to competitive titles and going in and looking what people are saying, what they like and don't like in the reviews? Because
What's
Amazon
that
will
website
let
you
you,
use, Judith? What's that website for
um,
judging titles?
AM Institute.
That's the
You want to
one.
you wanted to discover AM Institute and the American Marketing Association. So
Yep.
the AM is American Marketing, and then add on Institute to it, and they will very quickly, you can put up to 20 words together in a string. But for titles, for blog titles, for articles, for your subtitle, for sure on your book, because Rebecca's one of these people say, if you just would use a one-word title, I'd be really
Not
happy.
one word,
Okay,
but these long
sure, yeah,
titles. On Judith's second book, I think she wanted to say this instead of the secret Hamlet. Is that the? She wanted to say the secret neighborhood, and I'm like, neighborhood's such a long
can't
word.
remember.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, it'll go. The thing is, your book is only so big. The letters get smaller and smaller and smaller. If you've ever
yeah.
noticed a James Patterson book, very very popular man, you notice that. his name is Patterson is super long, but they just
Huge.
press the type. So it's like, 3 inches tall on your book. Well, we can do that, but it makes it just hard to read. Everybody knows James Patterson and they read it and it's done because he's a well-known author. But long words just get compressed and small. So I think I asked something like, can we change it to Hamlet? And she was like, yes. And that's even a better word. So a lot of
Much
times
better.
they will challenge. And another word to never use on a title is savvy. The two V's together plus the Y are tricky on the eyes. It comes out as a sawi. The two V's can, go into a W. So savvy is one that's like I've completely banned that from Judith's list of words because she
Oh, and
likes that word.
I do. In fact, I'm looking way at the top over. You can't see it, but it's on the top shelf. The Woman's Guide to Financial Savvy.
I know
Was
that
it
was
was
before
my
me, or
first,
I would have. No, I would have talked to you about that.
you
The
know,
V's are tricky.
yeah, and it was a bestseller. It did great. But
Anyway,
um,
the V's are
anyway,
like words like that. Community is odd
yeah,
because the MMUN are so many uprights together, and if you smash them together, it does become hard to read. The MM. I mean, this is again the what and going back to reviews. I just want to make a quick comment. You really want your reviews on your book to be about the characters or the theme or the idea, something
mhm,
about them. They liked them or they didn't like them, and that's going to go both ways. You don't want them
mhm.
to be, they misspelled the word such and such throughout the book, or there wasn't their overuse of commas was annoying, and I couldn't finish the book. Please, no, don't have your reviews focus on the book. And the way you kind of prevent that is you have it professionally edited. It's really very important. I love third grade English teachers and I love cousins, but those are two things that you don't want to have associated with your editor. You want them to be completely independent, professionally
Yeah,
done. That
yeah.
is because if not, and you get bad reviews, your next step is probably going to be to have it professionally edited and revamp the book and come out again so you can get rid of those bad reviews. Like that's one of the ways. It's a longer way, but if the reviews are really the commas and the semicolons and the misspelled words and whew, don't
It's telling you you need to
correct.
pull it off. Now, there's there's also trolls out here. There are people who are not nice people that they will put up crappy reviews on that. And just and Amazon has a deal because they always ask on every review, was this helpful? Yes or no? Okay, now, because I just made a comment for somebody else. And now if you say no, now they give you choices why.
Correct. It
And
came,
mark it.
the package came ripped. Well, again, has nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with your book. Nothing,
Right.
not at all.
No. So and one of them, which surprised me, that it was a scam. I think that
Oh,
it had a
super.
word. Yeah, it's that it's a fake. It's a fake. It said it's a fake review.
Hmm.
You know, and I really do approve of that. All right, so aminstitute.com. Let's get the emotional, the intellectual, the spiritual,
Where you're
the
going.
emphatic.
Where is your book going? Who's your
Where's it
audience?
going? So that'll help you. All right. And that's the title that we're after, which is where we started here. The shorter the main title, the better. And the thing is, if it's a one or two word title, especially that would happen with a fiction book, um, it can't get a measurement. So that's when that subtitle comes in, that you
Correct.
get the full thing. Rebecca, let's talk about a bold thing to do. Let's go after some reviews.
Oh,
And one
yeah.
of the really good resources, and if you all go to like the AuthorU,
Oh,
AUTHORU.org website, scroll down under Associates, Publishing Associates on the tab, and there is one called Midwest Book Reviews.
I was gonna say that
That
one's very good. That
it's
one's really
excellent.
good.
Yeah, it's James Cox,
And
and
it's
it's a freebie.
free. It's a
And it's a free.
freebie.
Yeah, and the whole system is underwritten by a grant. He's very protective of his grant people. But when they do a review, it then has the sub ability of going out into like 8 different uh, uh, areas that special just for libraries, for example. But they're well respected. on there, and then you can take that now. So one of their requirements, which is where I'm going here, one of their requirements is that your book has a book one sheet. And
It
you're
will be
wondering,
rejected if it does not have a one sheet.
what the
Absolutely.
devil is a book one sheet?
I'd
So
love to show if
yeah, yeah, let's
okay,
show one.
give me a minute to get them set up, but also
Okay,
with
so but
Midwest
yeah,
is
let me
they're honest. You will get
yeah,
an honest review. So, even a negative review, even a negative thing that is just whatever wasn't that person's day or whatever, your book needs to be reviewed, whatever. There's all if they give you a review that's, let's say, 100 words, you can pick a sentence out of that. You can, that's neutral or better. Once the review is yours, even an Amazon review, it is yours. You cannot add words, but
yeah,
or put them in
yeah,
different order, but you can subtract words in between or fractionalize or
yeah,
use this sentence and that sentence. That's okay. Anyway, let me pull these up.
yes. And here's what's very also cool, and I just sent a note to my producer, make it so we can share the
Oh,
screen.
sorry. Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll do that. But that what happens is that if you were to go into a bookstore or an event, you could actually show them this is what your book's back because it's going to have all the main ingredients it needs on it. It's going to have a price on it. It's going to have an ISBN on it. Ooh, and while Rebecca's prepping here, I want to tell you, you must get, this is the Google gods talking if you have on your website a bookstore of some called books, order books, whatever the tab says, if you have that, you need to, it's very common that we would have a link to BNN or Amazon or to IndieBound or something like that, okay? To go buy the book. They just click on it and it goes there. And the thing is, and Rebecca, see if you can share yet. Um, that if you could go on that, that you want to make sure that it has the price of your book written. So if it's 22.95, make sure that shows. You'll be dinged down, ranked down if you don't have that for each of your books. Okay, can you make that bigger?
Ah,
It's teeny weeny.
let me see if I can just do is this better?
Well, that is better. Okay, it's visible. Rebecca, it's
All right.
visible. We can
All
see.
right. It's visible, which is nice. So I just wanted to bring these up. So this is a guy we've been working with. We've mentioned him before. He has 9 books. And I just want to present him so you know what the covers look like. This is so Thaddeus Bewick is 1, The Tower is 9, goes across. These are his books. So what we did is we started doing one sheets. This is a one sheet. So this copy that you see here is from the back cover. Literally, I'm just putting it in the back cover. We have a review. He got a great review, so we're putting that here. A little bit of bio about him and his next books. The biggest thing about a one sheet is that you need to have the ISBNs and the price and how to get in the publisher and how to get in touch with the author. Super, super important. So you can see now we have a theme and the books are building. We're showing all the other books. So this is the first of the 3. Then we have the next 3. And again, the books are building as they go across. Again, it's very similar. Do we have a background? We have a focus. We have the back copy. And then we have, this is essentially we're on book 8. Just I've done the covers, but the interiors aren't done. So this is that cover that we have. That's a one sheet for, I just wanted to say for Judith, well, let me see if I get more one sheets. Yes, we have Judith's books, which are these books, the Hamlet series. And then for one sheets, I'm going to jump ahead to this. Oops, sorry. These are her one sheets. So again, back cover. And there's always a tool or an implement that is used. And again, I use this on the interior as a chapter start. I use the arrows as a chapter start. I use the wolf as a chapter start as additional art. But again, back cover copy and a little review or a highlight. We used on this one like a pull quote. Then you have the publishing information and then a little bit about Judith and Brian. They are a writing team. So, once you get one set up, then you have the others also here in a theme. But
All right,
this
so
is a
don't
one
leave
sheet
this
that
yet.
you've
Okay, yeah, here's what I'm noticing. Like The Secret Journey was book 1. There wasn't a book 2 or book 3 yet. And then The Secret Hamlet was book 2, so we showed book 1. And The Rise is book 3, so we showed the other 2. So I'm thinking,
We should go back and have all the books. Right.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm redoing, there's another offer that I'm redoing, and she has a 4-book set. And yes, we're going back and listing all of them, even though at the time we had no other books when this Secret Journey came out. But, you know, you're offering this to somebody who wants more information about your book. So show this series. Yes, we need to update these. I didn't realize that before, and I will. I'll get to there. I was going to show one
No,
other way to
okay, we
get
got
in. These
one
are
more minute. All right. Oh,
okay.
runners. Yes.
These are runners. So this is essentially what you see, the award-winning, this goes over the front of a table, and this part goes over the top of the table. So if you're in a bookstore, coffee shop, grocery store, they would immediately say Judith Briles. When I set these up, I'm thinking bad lighting, across the room, lots of people. So they want to be able to see this across the room. There's not a lot of words on this. They need to come towards you, but when they come towards you, and Judith says, "Hello, I'm Judith," or they like know who you are already. They already know that you're inspirational or cooking or historical fiction, and you're award winning. They know things about you. So this is a great way to introduce yourself across the room in bad lighting. I'm going to stop
That's
sharing.
right. Yeah, that's like the lure has gone out, and now you're going to reel them
Correct.
in, everyone.
Correct.
All right. So we've given you a lot of ideas. We've said them before in past ones, but we've kind of brought it all together, and it just kind of a
Right. Take
yeah.
bold steps. Take bold steps. Plan them, reassess. But bold steps, big ones,
Right.
bold steps.
This is the year people are reading more. Book sales are up. It's a good thing to do for yourself and for others. And with
Yep.
that, we're going to sign off. We'll see you next week with another show. Thank you, Rebecca, for being with
You're
us
welcome.
again, and for helping make this show possible. And we wish you a great spring. It's coming. It's
Right.
coming. All right. Take
Time
care.
changes around the corner.